Good Tuesday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversation Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this Tuesday with a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. And in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you'll be part of my conversation with Jose Hernandez, a former NASA astronaut and entrepreneur. You don't want to miss that. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Tuesday headlines. In national news, Texas State Police launch internal review of Uvalde response. 2 months after the Uvalde school massacre, Texas State Police on Monday announced an internal review into the actions of dozens of troopers who were at Robb Elementary School during 73 minutes of bewildering inaction by law enforcement as a gunman slaughtered 19 children and 2 teachers. The announcement appeared to widen the fallout of an 80-page report released over the weekend by the Texas House. They revealed failures at all levels of law enforcement and identified 91 state troopers at the scene, more than all Uvalde officers combined. It also amounted to a public shift by the Texas Department of Public Safety, which until now has largely criticized local authorities for failing to confront the gunman sooner. The report made public Sunday laid bare for the first time just how massive a presence state police and U.S. Border Patrol had on the scene during one of the worst school shootings in U.S. history. You got 91 troopers on the scene. You got all the equipment you could possibly want, and you're listening to the local school cop, said a state senator whose district involves Uvalde and who has accused DPS of seeking to minimize its role in the response. The findings that Border Patrol agents and state troopers made up more than half of the 376 law enforcement officials who rushed to the South Texas school on May 24th spread the responsibility for a slow and bungled response far wider than previous accounts that emphasized mistakes by Uvalde officers. The report made clear that egregiously poor decision-making by authorities went beyond local law enforcement in Uvalde, who were eventually outnumbered more than 5-1 by state and federal officers at the scene. Other local police from the area around Uvalde also responded to the shooting. The report puts a new spotlight on the roles of state and federal agencies whose leaders, unlike local authorities, haven't had to sit through meetings where they were confronted by the furious parents of the children. Of the nearly 400 officers who converged on the school, only 2 are currently known to be on leave pending investigation into their actions. In more national news, police laud actions of man who killed Indiana mall attacker. A gunman who shot 5 people at a suburban Minneapolis shopping mall, killing 3 of them before a shopper shot and killed him, was a 20-year-old local man who was apparently facing eviction, authorities said on Monday. The gunman of Greenwood began firing after leaving a bathroom at the Greenwood Park Mall shortly before it closed Sunday evening, the city's police chief said at a news conference. Many more people would have died last night if not for responsible armed citizens, said the chief, noting that authorities were still trying to determine a motive for the attack. The Johnson County and Marion County Coroner's Office identified the slain victims. Conversations Daily News are not naming the shooter or the victims at this time. Although authorities say the man who shot the shooter was legally armed, the mall does prohibit people from carrying weapons on its property. The mall issued a statement Monday saying it grieves for the victims and praised the man who shot the shooter for his heroic actions. It did mention its no weapons policy, and its operator then responded to a request for comment from the Associated Press. In more national news, Fauci expects to retire by end of Biden's current term. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the government's top infectious disease expert, said Monday he plans to retire by the end of President Joe Biden's term in January 2025. Fauci, 81, was appointed director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases in 1984 and has led research in HIV/AIDS, respiratory infections, Ebola, Zika, and the coronavirus. He has advised 7 presidents and is Biden's chief medical advisor. In an interview with Politico, Fauci said he hoped to leave behind an institution where I have picked the best people in the country, if not the world, who will continue my vision. Asked Monday on CNN when he planned to retire, Fauci said he does not have a particular retirement date in mind and hasn't started the process. He said he expects to leave government before the end of Biden's current term, which ends in January 2025. And finally, in business news, Wall Street rally fades as corporate profit reports ramp up. Stocks closed lower on Wall Street Monday after an early rally evaporated by mid-afternoon, marking a choppy start to a week full of updates on the two things that set stock prices: how much profit companies are making and where interest rates are heading. The S&P 500 fell 0.8% after having been up 1% in the early going. The index broke a 5-day losing streak at the end of last week. Gains in energy producers, big retailers, and other companies that rely on consumer spending were outweighed by a pullback in healthcare and technology stocks. Goldman Sachs rose after reporting better profit for the spring than expected. Cyrus Webb, Conversations with Daily News. It's now time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Tuesday, everyone, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. Your reward is still ahead. You can do it. All you have to do is have faith and never give up, and you will succeed. Have an amazing Tuesday. Former NASA astronaut, entrepreneur, and author Jose Hernandez is featured in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Enjoy. We're here on Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with Entertainment Spotlight. Jose Hernandez, former NASA astronaut, best-selling author, and entrepreneur, joined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about his extraordinary career. Here's a bit of our conversation. What has this experience been like for you to be able to share this journey with the world and to see the response to it?
Well, yeah, it's pretty exciting to think that there's interest in creating my story. You know, I've written a few books. One is a self-penned biography of myself, and Reaching for the Stars, which coincidentally is available in Amazon as well. And so Amazon picked up the interest in doing a movie about my life story, and filming starts next month, which is pretty exciting, and the actor that's going to play me is Michael Pena, who is pretty well known, and he even has experience playing an astronaut on. I think he played an astronaut in The Martian with Matt Damon.
Wow. Well, and that's the thing. When we booked this segment, I went and bought the Kindle edition of your book, Reaching for the Stars, Jose, so I could kind of have it as a guidepost for this conversation today. And what is so interesting to me as we get into, these images from the James Webb Space Telescope is that, you have definitely lived the dream. Being able to appreciate, I think, the importance of things, growing up in the family that you did, the importance of hard work and dedication. What was it like for you, to fulfill that journey and that dream of being an astronaut?
Well, I think it's the epitome of reaching the American dream, right, Cyrus, in the sense that it really doesn't matter where you start, it matters where you end up at.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning into this edition of Conversation Daily News. But we'll see you guys on tomorrow with more news, message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and of course your entertainment spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversation Daily News today, and let's go make it amazing.